The highlights. Lagos State government restates call for proper sanitation to prevent flooding. Federal government unveils plan to boost local production of healthcare products. On the foreign scene, Ukraine, Russia to hold talks in Istanbul after Kyiv's drone attacks. And in sport, Nigeria-Cameroon friendly match rescheduled again as Confederation of Africa Football rejects proposed date. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. The Lagos State government has reiterated the importance of good sanitation practices amongst all residents in order to ensure a clean, flood-free, safe and sustainable environment across the state. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, said this while speaking with the media after an inspection tour to Idiaraba and Dele Agadumo, Alabarago, noting that all residents must make good sanitation practices a daily culture and way of life. Wahab said the Lagos State government understands the essence of proper sanitation and has resolved to commence the monthly environmental sanitation exercise, stating that a formal commencement date will soon be announced publicly. The commissioner said the ministry got an intelligence that there was a syndicate behind the cart-pushing business around Idiaraba, why the ministry had to visit and come up with ways to totally eradicate the activities of the syndicate and cart pushers in the area. He noted that there was an abandoned dump site at Idiaraba that is still being operated illegally by the cart pushers and enabled by the syndicate group. Wahab assured that the issue will also be decisively dealt with alongside traders under Daleko Bridge engaging in buying and selling. The Lagos State government has announced that the enforcement of the e-collab system on the Lekki-Ekpe corridor will officially commence on June 16, following an earlier postponement. Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Obafemi Hamzat, made the announcement during a high-level stakeholders meeting convened to address pressing concerns surrounding traffic management and congestion caused by increasing industrial activities within the Lekki Free Zone and its surrounding areas. Hamzat explained that the e-collab system is designed to regulate the movement of articulated vehicles and tankers accessing the corridor, thereby promoting orderly traffic flow and preventing the kind of gridlock previously experienced in the Apapa area. He urged all stakeholders to remain fully committed to the initiative, noting its critical role in enhancing logistics efficiency and improving road transportation infrastructure in the state. Also speaking at the meeting, Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, acknowledged that while previous engagements with stakeholders had resulted in consensus on implementation, challenges encountered during recent enforcement efforts necessitated a temporary pause and further consultations. Oshiemi also directed the immediate removal of all articulated vehicles currently obstructing traffic along the Lekki-Ekpe corridor, emphasizing that the enforcement of the e-collab system is not intended as a revenue-generating initiative, but rather as a vital strategy to improve traffic flow, safety, and road infrastructure management across the state. Several states have commenced measures to arrest flooding, with Nasarawa, Anambra, Borno, Kebbi, and Bayelsa government planning to evacuate residents to prevent loss of lives and property. The federal government announced in April that no fewer than 1,249 communities in 176 local governments across 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory would witness heavy flooding between April and November 2025. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utseb, had in April identified high flood risk states as Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Gombe, Imo, and Jigawa. Others are Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, Zamfara, and the FCT. The minister raised concerns that flooding remains one of the devastating natural disasters in Nigeria, with climate change accelerating its frequency and severity. He also predicted that coastal and riverine areas such as Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Lagos, Ogun, Rivers, and Ondo would experience flooding due to the rise in sea level and tidal surge, and this would impact fishing, wildlife habitation, and river navigation. Meanwhile, residents of Mokwa local government area in Niger State have expressed fears of a disease outbreak as 2 more bodies were recovered beneath one of the bridges swept away by the devastating flood that hit the local government, bringing the total death toll to 153. The Mokwa flood has receded, but residents who are still searching for missing persons lamented the stench of decaying corpses, which has sparked fears of a disease outbreak. Now to the rest of the stories. The federal government said it is working to reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported healthcare products. It says the current administration is also working to curb the number of Nigerians seeking medical treatment abroad and to create jobs in the health sector. National coordinator of the Presidential Unlocking Healthcare Value Chain Initiative, Abdul Mukhtar, who was represented by Nasir Ahmed at the launch of the Impact Healthcare Initiative, said one of the initiative's major milestones was the signing of a presidential executive order in July 2024. He said the order eliminates value-added tax on raw materials and medical equipment manufacturing supplies, a move aimed at reducing local production costs and attracting private sector investment. The initiative, established by the president, is designed to drive medical industrialization and unlock the full potential of Nigeria's healthcare value chain. Mukhtar also highlighted that under the leadership of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Mohammed Pate, the federal government is implementing a strategic health sector blueprint designed to align public and private sector efforts. The federal government has announced plans to deliver 77,400 social housing units across Nigeria and launch new renewed hope cities in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano in a move to tackle the country's housing deficit. Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Yusuf Atta, who announced this, said the primary mandate of the ministry is to provide mass housing for Nigerians and welcome potential collaboration. Atta reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to solving housing challenges through major investments and partnerships. He explained that under the Renewed Hope agenda, 3,000 housing units each will be constructed in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano for Renewed Hope cities, and 250 housing units in each of the 36 states for the estates. Atta noted that a significant portion of the new homes will be dedicated to vulnerable Nigerians. Now to foreign news. Russian and Ukrainian delegations are set to hold ceasefire talks in Turkey's largest city a day after Kyiv carried out unprecedented drone attacks across Russia. Russia's defense ministry on Sunday said air bases in 5 Russian regions came under attack, stating that several fighter jets caught fire at air bases in Murmansk and Irkutsk. It said other attacks were repelled and there were no casualties. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky called the attacks absolutely brilliant, adding that planning for the operation had begun a year and a half ago. Explosions also caused 2 bridges to collapse in Russia, derailing 2 trains. Earlier on Sunday, Kyiv said that at least 12 soldiers were killed and more than 60 others were wounded in a Russian missile attack on a military base in Ukraine's Dnipro region. In our sports, the international friendly between Nigeria Super Falcons and the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon will now be held on Tuesday at the MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta after the Confederation of African Football (CAF) rejected a proposed shift to Monday. The Super Falcons, who had earlier announced the rescheduling of the tie via the official X handle, confirmed the reversal. CAF did not approve the revised date on Monday, June 2, as proposed by the Nigeria Football Federation and the Cameroonian Football Federation, prompting a reversion to the earlier schedule. The fixture was originally scheduled for Tuesday, June 3, but was briefly brought forward to Monday, June 2, following the cancellation of the first leg initially billed for Saturday, May 31 at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne. That encounter was scrapped due to the late arrival of the Cameroonian delegation, who only reached Ikenne late Friday night, too late for the required pre-match protocols and recovery. And that ends on News at 10. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch your news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration initiated the Lagos State Employability Support Project to address the labor skill gap and unemployment problems? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, try the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos State Government has reiterated the importance of good sanitation practices amongst all residents in order to ensure a clean, flood-free, safe and sustainable environment across the state. The federal government said it is working to reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported healthcare products. We also told you that Russian and Ukrainian delegations are set to hold ceasefire talks in Turkey's largest city a day after Kiev carried out unprecedented drone attacks across Russia. And in sport, the international friendly between Nigeria's Super Falcons and the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon will now be held on Tuesday at the MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta after the Confederation of African Football (CAF) rejected a proposed shift to Monday. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That is news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbolagun. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.